Okay, hello everybody. It's Chris Ryan here. I go by many titles, many accolades which precede and proceed me. And yes, I'm just gonna make a quick video. I think this one's gonna go up on the YouTube. My teeth are getting a little gray. I am drinking coffee right now and haven't brushed yet, but I'm gonna try to work on that. So bear with me, folks. I've been meaning to fix that hole too, but it's a piece of brick and it's double layer drywall, so I gotta figure some sort of stuff out. My other drywall patching method doesn't really work with double drywall. So anyways, that being said, I'm just gonna have to deal with it, folks. There's a hole in the plot. And anyways, this is a message for pretty much anyone. Anyone can watch this, take something from it. And it's just basically to say, what's up? Hello, connect. No matter who this is watching this could be anybody. And it's just a means of sort of reaching out and connecting with some people. If you do know who I am, you've seen any of my content, spent any number of seconds with me, you might very well know that often I tend to be the source of controversy for some reason. In terms of just what I might say or think when, because I think it's important to test yourself, test your boundaries, sort of go certain places. A lot of people will do that. They'll say certain things, they'll go hang out with certain people, make certain decisions. You see this a lot with all kinds of people: actors, stunt devils, drug addicts, artists, just people in general. That we're human beings. We like to test our boundaries to keep expanding, growing, moving out, up, around. This is sort of a thing we do. As far as I've been able to gather from what I've seen, we like to expand. Look at where we are now and where we were a month ago. So that being said, this is more just kind of like a hey, what's up? We're homies now. Maybe we always were. I'm definitely a little bit of an apologetic tone, I'm sure. Hold up here. I'm gonna switch hands. I'm ambidextrous, I skate switch and regular a lot, and I started out playing drums left-handed, and sometimes I can please myself with my left hand. It's hard, a little. My dick gets a little bored. But anyways, that's not important. The point is this. There's a little bit of an apologetic tone, I'm sure, because I will often sort of take the stance of a naysayer, or I enjoy the debate. Talking shit, dude. It's something poor people have done for like a long time. Chit chat, small talk. I'm a poor motherfucker, right? I come from sailors. That's what we do. Fishermen. You're stuck on the boat. You can only fuck your neighbor so many times. It's like, all right, Dave, let's just talk about the weather for a sec here, bud. Anyways, crass jokes aside, Crass Ryan. That's what they like to call me. The reason why I'll make those jokes and just say shit and think stuff is because you gotta kind of test yourself. You gotta see where it goes. It's people who, like, I'll give you an example, like mixed martial artists, any sort of martial artist, military people who train for pretty serious traumatic encounters. You only experience that X amount of times. Like let's say, for instance, somebody like a boxer or an MMA fighter. Those people, I guess other sports like kickboxing, you're in the shit a little more. Maybe, I don't really know. I am not a sports or mixed martial arts expert. But back to the example of boxing, mixed martial arts. Really, you're only in the shit. Really, really, really facing somebody in a sort of do or die situation. You know, a small number of times, a couple times a year, maybe. A lot of training goes into that, though. The amount of hours and thought and mental preparedness that you need to go into that is insanely huge. So the amount of time these people are thinking and preparing testing the boundaries, pushing themselves, pushing the limits of the sport, of their human ingenuity and capability, the amount of time spent doing that compared to the amount of time actually really dealing with it and putting yourself in that scenario is huge. You're doing way more preparation is involved. So I think to stick to the example, somebody like that, the amount of preparing, sometimes I need to think about fucked up shit and say fucked up shit to be like, do I really think that? Do we really? Is that good? Is this bad? And sometimes you got to recoil, and sometimes it can sting you. Sometimes you can push out too far, and you feel the results of it for sure. I've definitely rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I've definitely overstepped my bounds. I've definitely done some bad things consciously. But I think we can all say that, and I'm glad I have, and I've been able to learn and grow, continue growing outward, test my boundaries and test my limits, and it's something that we do. And I'm very sympathetic, I'm very empathetic for all people. I sort of see myself in everyone, and I see everyone within me, and I see how we are all one sort of big organism. And when I do these sort of things, when I say or do something sort of weird or offbeat, controversial, a big part of it is trying to understand maybe somebody is to try to understand other people more, somebody else more. So I sort of take that position or stance. That's why debating is kind of fun, because you take that. You may not be gonna die on that hill of that particular argument, but it's fun to see from that angle, to be like, actually, now that's a fucked up way to think. But you got to kind of know that. You have to think that way to know that that's really fucked up or not. Do you know what I mean? So, for instance, yeah, something like wearing seatbelts in a car. Easily debatable. Some people would say, fuck, I've never worn a seatbelt, never died. Somebody could say, I wear it all the time. I know somebody who has, blah, 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 all these things. At the end of the day, most people could probably agree. Not a bad idea. You're probably going to, I think the statistics probably read that they fucking save tons of lives. But yeah, again, it's good to talk about these things, think about it, grow, expand your information, expand your knowledge, expand your capability, expand your absorption rate. Expand your ability to filter out stuff that you sort of see coming, learn from mistakes. You're like, 99 times I saw how this went, so this is the 100th time, and I'm not going to let that happen, and, things like this, I think it's important for us to do it, to quickly write off a new idea or something somebody says that we don't like. I do it too. Everyone does it. You hear something, you're like, fuck you, man. No. What do you mean? What are you talking about? You're fucking crazy. Because it's hard we get so hardwired and so chunked into a particular way of thinking that when we think about, it's hard for us to immediately switch over to think about how that person is thinking. Think about a basic argument or fight or disagreement. How many times do you have disagreements with people where you're like, we are never gonna fucking figure this out, man? Or person, you know what I'm saying? Man, the word, I guess. So I guess, you don't really want to get too hardwired. You certainly need guidelines, but you got to be able to freeform around that. Sometimes, if you're following the Google Maps and there's a roadblock that's not on there and you hit the roadblock, you can't just be like, well, no, I have to go through. This is how it goes. I planned this way. This is how I looked at the map. No, this is how it goes. You got to readjust and you got to move around it. Okay, it's good to have that roadmap. It's good to have the guidelines, but things are going to happen where you have to make quick adjustments, and we're seeing that a lot right now in the world. People are making pretty quick adjustments to their normally standard lives, right? Things were kind of rolling along, trucking along smooth, and now we're hitting mad roadblocks, potholes, accidents on the side of the road, etc. So I guess what I'm really sort of getting at is it's important to not always position yourself so firmly, so flat-footed. You got to be free floating. You got to be free form a little. You got to be able to move. You got to have a game plan. You got to see where you're going, but you're going to have to make adjustments along the way. This is just the fact of the matter. If you look through the woods, that's why there's paths. If you used to hang out, if you ever hang out in the woods, you take paths, go to your local park. If you're allowed right now, there's paths that are formed. They're rarely in a fucking straight line. Sometimes that happens, but that requires some human intervention usually. But yeah, keep that in mind. It's often not a straight path. It's often not a clear path. And if you're too firmly planted in your ideas, your ideology, it's going to be hard for you to make adjustments along the way. So when you hear a new idea, you hear someone say something that doesn't agree with, that's why there's so much beefing in the world, is because people are firmly planted. It's the people that love the team sports and the teaming up. When really you on your own, motherfucker, there ain't no team sports, man. You know, just think about that, right? At the end of the day, you know, you could have a basketball, theoretically, for instance, you could have a basketball game. Everyone's on the court. But during the jump off, all the players all collide, smash heads. There's two players left, one from each team. Everyone else is now knocked out, concussed. The ball is in play. There's one player on each team. The ball is still in play before a ref makes a move, and then, one other guy slips on some sweat. Immediately after this jump off, falls, cracks his head. He's concussed. You got one man from one team playing. The ref has not seen anything yet. The ball is still in play. It's a single person. Initially, what you thought was a group, a team sport, something going on like this, you realize now there's one man running the ball, and he has the ability to act and make things happen for his own, and has to rely. Eventually, sure, yeah, the ref's maybe going to blow the whistle, whatever, but you still stand an opportunity to score, make some points, make some moves, make some progress, and realize that you are on your own. It's up to you to run that ball. You have to do it. Sure, you're doing it on behalf of a team and what the team is and stands for, but at the end of the day, this analogy is getting away from me, folks, but at the end of the day, you see what I'm saying, that basically you can align yourself with a group, but at some point you're going to have to realize that you act on behalf of yourself and on your own. That bringing it back to that analogy, that player, sure, he could stop and just be like, whatever, but he's like, no, man, I'm a star. This is what I do. I'm running this ball for me, for my team, for what I stand for what I've worked for what I believe it's really about, which is it about getting the ball in the net at that point, or is it about you being the best baller that you can be, top dog? I hope that wrapped it up a little bit. I hope that tied up your sausage a little for you there, folks. Okay. So yeah, basically, again, it's important to be a little bit more fluid. Be like water, they say, because that really is a good way to do it. Water always finds a way, folks. Water always finds a way. This murky coffee water is finding its way down my gullet right now, and I'm liking it. I think we're like a lot percent water, aren't we? Big time water. Humans, 70 to 90. I keep trying to hide that hole. I'm going to have to fix that hole. If I'm going to be doing more of these dirty videos, I got to fix that hole, boy. Okay? So, yes. Be like water. Keep the water clean. Keep the water moving. Keep the water fresh. Keep the water pure. Keep the water moving, folks. We need a little bit of patience right now, which is super hard. It's coming from me. I've been wilding out a little bit, low key, but we need a lot of patience right now, because you need patience to think and act on the fly. If you're not patient and you're panicking, that's when you're gonna be like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh my god, this and then, And there's a certain amount of that, but you need to know how to panic good. You gotta be fucking good at panicking. That is a fucking skill, son. You don't think so? I mean, yeah, man. Like, how do you think military operatives get their shit done? Like, they're in high stress situations, a lot on the line, man. And shouts out to people who serve, because although there's a lot to be discussed and unpacked as to how people feel about um, military presence, occupation, what the military really does. At the end of the day, as a civilization and society, have always needed and required some set of overseeing military force. It's just always been a part of it. Uh, Again, we can unpack that discussion a little further. But that being said, there's a lot of great people who serve in our military and other militaries in other militaries over the world, basically doing the same thing, looking out for the betterment of that nation, and what that nation holds, and what sort of ideologies they're pursuing and whatnot. It really is the same basic human thing. It's protecting, some group of people and what they are and what they stand for and believe. And yeah, again, to stay on point here, folks. A little high. These people got to act fast. They're panicking. And they're fucking good at it. And it's a thing you need to do. I'm a jazz musician. I play jazz music. Jazz is all about Have you ever listened to fucking jazz? Charlie Parker? That motherfucker's panicking. Have you ever listened to John Coltrane? That guy lost it. He's beyond panicking at that point. He's just like, he's freaking, dog. He's hit the other level. Shouts out John Coltrane and the Jazz Machine, which is fucking Sir Elvin Jones. And they're good at it, dog. They come out smooth, and like sometimes it's tough. You don't know what the fuck you're in for. If you've never watched a boxing match or an MMA fight, I mean, it's a lot like other sports. There's a level of panic with worse haircuts. And then these fucking weirdo football overly passionate supermodels. I'm with a potage! What the fuck? But yeah, I beef with football. Football, I beef with a little, because it's a little too handsome sometimes. Some crybabies up in that shit. Any sport where lying is like, valued. I guess it is a little bit in lots of sports, but yeah, fuck that football shit. But yeah, back to my thing about panicking. You have to look at what that word really is, what it means to you. If you look at, I'm using it right now in a little bit facetiously, in the fact that, not like, what do I do, but you're like, yeah, what do I do? What am I doing? Where am I going? You have to have a little bit about that in everyday fucking life, man. That's how I act on the subway. I'm always first on the bus, first to the top of the stairs, because I want to be. And there's ways to make that happen. I figured it out. I don't get stuck in with the people. I avoid, my panic. I'm ready. I'm moving smoothly. I have to navigate. I have to figure it out. And, that's one example. Again, talking about the jazz music. These guys are figuring shit out on the fly a lot with a set of guidelines. They had a plan sort of going into it. They got a map. And they know where they're going, and they got to get there, but it's not always certain what you're going to have to do in between. You're going to be figuring shit out on the fly. Improvising. It's a great term. It's a great skill. You should check it out. If you don't use that word, if you're not exactly sure what improvising means, it's a huge term. It's paramount in the jazz world. Okay? I'm looking at my face and I'm looking at my clock and I'm realizing, I think if you've made it this far into the video, everybody's had enough. But it's not a time for fear. It's never a time for fear. Fear is not very good. What you look at what fear is rooted in. Fear should be like that. I'm a left-handed snapper, by the way, naturally. Natural left clapper, natural left snapper. Fear should be the spark that ignites, a sense of panic. And panic should flow into a sense of alertness. And then that alertness will continue its way into a sense of readiness because you've thought about it, you've prepared. You don't always want to be fucking hit in the face and sucker punched. I've had it happen. Knocked down from the back. It's not fun. I didn't come to till I was one or two houses away. I was like, what the fuck was that? I was drunk. I wasn't really ready. I wasn't on, all my cues weren't up. That could have been preventable, the situation that I got myself in, the reason why I was distracted to get suckered in the first place. Like to see that happen again. Not really. But, lesson learned. I was sleeping. I was ill prepared. I wasn't ready. All of those things didn't really kick in. So then everything got all mixed up. Like the fear and the panic and the readiness all kind of I got hit. I started running. So the readiness is, and the preparedness is taking place before the fear, because then the fear's coming up later, like what happened, where am I, you got your shit all out of whack, and that's not really how it works. I was just overcome. My cup ranneth over. So yeah, like I said, it's important to have difficult thoughts, difficult conversations with yourself, difficult conversations with people, with God. Okay, is there a God? Different difficult concepts we got to approach. We got to dig deep. I think now is a really, really, really great time to get a little more spiritual, man. Get to know yourself. We're living in a time right now, the year 2020, early 2020, because I don't even really need to preface this on some COVID shit, because all of 2020 so far has been encompassed by it. But yeah, we live in a time right now where we're encouraged to be spending time alone, and there's a positive thing in that, which is digging deep. Dig a little deep in yourself, and you might hit some rocks, man. You might hit some pipes. You might have to do some deconstruction, fam. You start digging down into an unknown area, if you or whatever. If you hit a pipe, you hit some construction, you might have to reroute that shit. That might require some serious deconstruction. Or maybe it's just clean digging. Maybe you gotta dig through clay. Maybe you gotta dig through sand. I don't know if this is making sense to a lot of you people, because I do dick work. I've been doing dick work my whole life, which means I use my penis to earn myself money, if you know what I'm saying. I'm always out there being a dick, just dick driving, dick in my back, dick in my arm. My neck is all dick. It's all dicks all day for not a lot of money. And when I'm talking dick work, I'm talking about dick digging. Digging with your dick down in the clay and the sand and the soil and the pipes and the rocks. It's not a lot of fun, folks. But at the end of the day, the hole gets dug for whatever reason it needs to be. Okay? And we get to the root of the situation, and we figure it out, and we sort of fill everything all back in, so everything is nice, and you have a finished product, and you can move on to the next phase and keep flowing, keep moving, folks. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up right about here. I think you get the gist of sort of what I'm trying to say. But this is a peace out to you. This is a one love. I got one love for anyone watching this. I'm a huge fan, even if I've never seen or met you. Just very unlikely that I'm gonna have any new fans off of this shit. I truly do thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I know somewhere deep inside we are on the same page about something, on the level, you know. So again, sort of, I think it's important for yourself to sort of try to identify with other people. You know, not all my jokes are crass, dirty, poo poo, pee pee jokes. Lots of them are. That's the best. That's the number one shit, really. We all know this. I mean, but yeah, you know, I can still get down on the dry jokes. I can still laugh at a squirrel doing something silly and just being a squirrel, or like, you know, uh, just laugh at life, nature, humanity, the way it is. It's all very, very, very silly to me. And for those of you that don't think that I take life seriously, I take things very, very, very seriously. And the only way for me to break away from that sometimes is to make light of it, because it's heavy, dog. I'm a heavy bitch. It's factual, documented, well documented. Okay, but I need a little bit of lightness in my life. I need a little light, and I'd like some light, please. Please, may I have some light? Please lighten my load. And I will try to do the same. I'll try to give light back, pay it forward, and be a lighter person, because, fuck. Sometimes I bear heavy down on people. Anyways, yeah, shouts out to you and your family and your loved ones and your soul and your spirit. I really hope you all are doing good right now, and I hope every day gets a little bit better for you. Cause take a second, man. Shut the screens off, man. Maybe if once you're done with this, turn it off and just look out the window. Just kind of get it, chill on the screen time a little bit, and just realize things are really sort of good. You know, maybe even if they're not that good for you, things are good. Life is good. Okay, so not so good at them Irish goodbyes, but I'll see you guys again soon. Trust me. This is not the last you've heard from me.